Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. We are continuing on with our decade videos, and this time we are doing our performance of the decade. Joined by Ciaran, Paul Tierney, Gary Spain. You all know most of us by now. So we're the ones we kind of have bracketed, and we have honourable mentions and so on. The Russia 0-0, Moscow, Richard Dunn, bleeding, bandaged head, the marker on the jersey, iconic. That one's obviously up there. Then you have the Estonia 4-0. I suppose we were a bit lucky in a sense. Keith Andrews, Jonathan Walters, Robbie Keane with 2 goals. That was under Trapattoni as well. That was the playoff for the Euros that got us to the Euro 2012. Then you've got Republic of Ireland's 1-0 win over Germany for the Euro qualifiers, and Shane Long will obviously with that goal. And then you've got the 1-0 win in the Euros against Italy, Robbie Brady with that header. And then you've got these are under O'Neill, by the way, in case you didn't know. And then you have the 1-0 win over Wales, James McLean's goal. And then you have the France game, which we lost 2-1, and they went on to win they went on to lose in the final to Portugal, but they went on to win the World Cup 2 years later. We're pretty much the same team, but we went 1-0 up against them with a Robbie Brady penalty to be undone. But I think is there any games that kind of would be, in your opinion, a larger scale, or
I'd include a few more. I'd include the win in Vienna against Austria, first win in continental Europe against kind of a top side since 1967.
Were they that much of a top side though?
Well, they were seated above us at the time. I'd also include possibly both legs of the win against Bosnia, which I think is a bit underrated, and the draw in Gelsenkirchen with John O'Shea. I mean, that was a 1-1 draw away to the world champions at a stage early in the campaign when Germany absolutely, I think they just lost to Poland, so it was crucial for them to win. And we played really, really well that night. Only went behind to a late enough goal from Tony Cruz. Looked like we were going to hang on for a 0-0 draw. Then it looked all over, and I don't know what John O'Shea was doing up in the box. But anyway, it's
what a finish, by the way.
Great. What a finish! What a goal! And Wezo was crucial in that as well. You know,
Jeff Hendrick as well.
Jeff Hendrick as well. Yeah. But so I think they're all worth the mention as well.
Yeah. Then kind of if you're narrowing it down then to like the really top 5, would they be in the list I called out at the start, or would you be inclined to maybe put the Bosnia, as you mentioned?
I'd have Bosnia ahead of Estonia, and I wouldn't include the defeat against France because we lost.
But
it was a great first half, superb first half, but I think
still a performance, guy.
It was still a performance, but not in the top 5. I mean, if we're counting a defeat in our top 5 performances of the decade,
well, I'm just saying we did. They got to the final and then they went and won the World Cup 2 years later. We're essentially the same team.
Yeah,
you know. I think maybe, I don't know if Kante was playing at that time.
I think he came off at half time and Coleman came on and changed it for them, and that's what kind of changed it for them.
But they'd given, and I'm not making excuses, but they'd been given a few extra days off than us.
True,
that was actually, although they would argue it's the advantage of they won their group and we went through as the best third, so maybe you get the advantage of winning your group, and that's
but I'm just making the case that you know, people say that we can't play against the big boys, and I thought that we gave a good account for ourselves against a team that maybe didn't win the Euros, but probably should have won that Euros, and then went on to win the World Cup 2 years later. But I see your point.
Yeah, I think the 4-0 against Estonia was a superb performance, but I know Estonia made the playoffs, but they were by far the weakest team.
Well, actually, we were quite lucky because that sending off was very dubious.
So we did, but we did destroy them. You know, we beat them 4-0. I mean, it was a very good performance, but I think the quality of the opposition, because I think the Bosnia won, and maybe pick either game, but maybe pick the home game because we actually won the game, you know.
I think a game that we're leaving out though as well is go back to the Euros against Sweden game. I think we were tipped to lose that, and everyone was like Zlatan. Hendrick hit the bar, obviously Wales scored. You know what I mean? We were unlucky not to win that game. That was a very good performance. So these are kind of all really ones that are kind of the top end, but I think people would do well to maybe maybe do better than the 1-0 against Germany. I think people would do well. But look, I'm going to reserve my answer. Ciaran, what would you be going for out of all the performances of the decade for your one?
Well, my one's based off the importance of it, and when we beat Italy in the group, it was the furthest we've ever got. It would confirm that we got the furthest we've ever got in the European Championship. We'd never got through the group stages in our history ever, and also in the campaigns that we went to and qualified for in that decade, we never got past either the playoffs or
did win a game,
and then the one that we actually were in 2012, we didn't win a single game. And I just think that took us to the furthest point we got in the decade. For me, that was the pinnacle that we got to, you know what I mean, in terms of performance. There was times in the game where it looked like we weren't going to score, and I just think I have two friends who went to the game, do you know what I mean, and they said just like after the game, like just Irish were there for like an hour in the stadium hugging, crying, you know what I mean, like it was like literally the best game ever made. But that's just my opinion. Germany, I know they were the world champions and whatnot, but and we defended for a lot of the game, and like it was like the saying of the manager afterwards, like he was like, you know, they had 100 long balls and we stopped the first 99, but the 100 we couldn't. Whereas the Italy game, we had to win it. We really went at them in that game, you know what I mean. But I understand Italy were all.
But I do think that we did have to win it because we'd been beaten by Scotland before the Germany game. But we had to go for the Germany one.
Well, no, a draw would have still got us the playoff.
I think
because we finished I think 4 points ahead of Scotland.
Yeah, I think a draw would still have been enough.
Scotland let
Scotland
goal
didn't beat
against
Georgia
Poland that night as well.
I think I think people had accepted a lot of like the fact that we lost to Scotland. Like people were going into that game where we lost to Scotland, so we're obviously going to be beaten by Germany, and obviously that wasn't the case. Happily enough. Paul, so yours is the Italy game, Robbie Brady's header.
Yeah.
Paul.
For me, I'm stuck between Germany and Italy, but I'm going to go for Italy simply for the joy of the goal, just the way it happened as well. Houlihan missed a chance, we all thought he was in, guaranteed to score straight at Sirigu, then comes back, ball straight on Brady's head, place erupts. Even the picture of Michael D. Higgins jumping up, I'll never forget it, and I'll never forget being in town watching it to take us off the road, people celebrating. It was just, for me, it's that, just simply for personal reasons.
Pure joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of things in your lifetime.
I know, and I was at all these games, so for me, I suppose the one I enjoyed most was certainly Italy.
Right.
No, I think we probably have to have an asterisk around all of these performances. Germany, it was an amazing win. We beat the world champions. They were effectively already through at that point, and look, we were desperately lucky to win that night. It was a great performance, but boy were we lucky. I mean, we could have been 3 or 4 down in the first 20 minutes, and it was a bit like the Alamo for a lot of the game. And I mean, both Shea Given and Darren Randolph had great performances in goal that night. Darren Randolph had the assist and Shane Long with that goal. But and the asterisk around the Italy game is Italy were already through. They'd already won the group, and it was very much a second string Italian side. But a second string Italian side is still a quality team. But I think we played really well in Lille. I think that's maybe the difference. I think we played well. We kept going. Yeah, when Wes missed that chance, we thought that was it. That was our chance, and then obviously brilliant ball for Robbie, great header, and I think if I'm going back to a moment of the decade that meant the most, and as Ciaran said, it got us to the last 16 of the Euros, which is as far as we've gotten this decade, you know. And we've only made I know you can argue we've gone further in the Euros in the past, that we qualified for an 8-team Euros and we actually got to the quarterfinals back in the old days. But It's the first time we made the knockout.
Was it?
Sorry?
Was that the World Cup we got to quarters?
No, well, we actually got to in 1964 we got to the quarterfinals of the old Euros.
Oh,
the
sorry,
only four teams got to the final.
Yeah, I was thinking of.
In 1990 we got to the World Cup quarterfinals as well. But we got to the knockout stages. It was so that's probably the game that meant the most. I'd give big shout out as well to those wins in Wales and Austria in the 2018 campaign. I mean, they were superb away wins. Wales was absolutely crucial. They needed a draw. I mean, we had to win and we were out. And I know what happened after that with the playoff with Denmark, but it was a great win. So I think, because of the importance of the occasion, and I think it's probably the performance was so good, particularly coming off the back of a really bad day against Belgium. And I know there were a lot of changes made to the team as well. But so Italy and Lille for me.
And you look at that goal Robbie Brady scored, you can see when he's running, his emotion. When you see the crowd when he's running there in the backdrop. You just look at the people like in the crowd. What it meant to Irish football, and after the game you could see by the managers what it meant, like Roy Keane and Martin O'Neill hugging and Hogan. They just knew the importance of it. It was such a massive moment.
Now Germany meant a lot as well. It was our first home win probably again against really top quality opposition since probably Holland in 2001. And I mean it meant a lot that night as well. But I think that was only Germany confirmed our place in the playoffs. I know we could still have qualified had we got a 2-2 draw or beaten Poland a few days later, but I think the Italy one, it just meant more. It was just mayhem in the stadium that night, and I don't know. It was just that for me is probably just meant the most.
There's a great picture from that Italy game of Buffon hugging the two managers as well, Keane and O'Neill, which is just like, even it sounds bad, but even Buffon wanted us to get through because that's it. Like,
was that the picture where it looks like Keane's absolutely hammered and he's about to go in for a kiss with him?
And that was that was the time as well. But they wanted to give Irish fans the key to the city, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, there was all the videos and the singing to babies and all that type of stuff.
They're
all just locked.
Another point about that actually was, and it's the one game in that tournament that all the Irish fans got into, because there were a lot of fans, which seems to be forgotten, locked out of the Sweden game, even though the stadium was half Irish. And there were thousands and thousands didn't get into the Belgium game in Bordeaux. They might say they were the lucky ones, but there were plenty of tickets for Lille. We just took over the whole city, we took over the stadium, and everyone that was there got in and got a ticket. So if it was going to be one game of that Euros, they all got to the main one, so it was good. That was it.
And I do think it's worth, you talk performance of the decade and you want really happy memories, and I suppose that one will give you the happiest memories, I think at that point, even though it was a second string team, you kind of felt like if you were kind of going in, and we had the low feeling of being beaten by Belgium as well, which obviously wasn't good. To come back then to the high of beating Italy was, I suppose, the icing on the cake in that. So I think that's fair to say. Performance of the decade. Republic of Ireland 1, Italy 0, Robbie Brady, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. What would be your performance of the decade? Because it's all well and good us having our opinion, but we'd like to hear yours as well. So let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful Christmas. Thanks for watching.